Frank Edoho, the man millions of Nigerians watched on their TV screens hosting, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, recently declared on social media that he would never commit to a romantic relationship again. Post-Nigeria. No explanation, just a warning, and Nigeria went looking for why. What they found shook the internet. Unverified allegations began circulating on social media linking popular singer Chike to the separation between Frank Edoho and his second wife, Sandra, on Premium Times. A blogger released what was described as a leaked audio. Then a voice note from Frank himself went viral. Then Sandra spoke, and suddenly, a private marriage was everybody's business. But here is what I want to talk about today, because this story is bigger than gossip. Let us start with Frank. In a resurfaced interview clip that went viral, Frank Edoho said, and I quote, "If you cross the line, my wife knows now. I am the king of malice. I will not talk to you. The best punishment I can give a woman is malice. I can stay in the same house and not talk to you if you cross the line." Post-Nigeria. He said it proudly like it was a medal. And that is where I need to pause. Because a man who tells you up front that he uses silence as punishment inside his own home, that is not discipline. That is emotional cruelty wrapped in a calm voice. That is a man who has weaponized peace, who can sit across from the mother of his children and act like she does not exist. Not because he is hurt, but because he wants her to suffer without leaving a mark. The clip generated widespread debate, with critics arguing that prolonged silence used as punishment constitutes emotional abuse, while others maintained it was a deliberate choice of restraint over physical violence. Post-Nigeria. And I understand the argument. He didn't hit her, that's true. But tell me, what does it do to a woman's soul to live with a man who uses silence like a weapon? To cook his food, carry his children, build his home, and be punished with invisibility every time she dares to displease him? Now let us talk about what Sandra said. Sandra took to her Instagram page to share her side in a post she titled, "Bravely, Painfully, Surviving a Bye," as Nick, Frank Edoho. She accused him of infidelity, emotional abuse, neglect, and financial irresponsibility during their marriage, her words. "Choosing to marry a man, raising our beautiful kids, single-handedly building and growing a successful design business, and giving myself wholly undiluted and faithful through and through punch." A woman who built herself, a woman who stayed, a woman who was faithful, and still ended up here, being tried in the court of public opinion. I am not here to justify cheating. I want to be very clear. I do not support infidelity, not for women, not for men. It is a betrayal that breaks people. But I'm asking a different question today. What does a woman do when the man she married has already emotionally left the building long before she did? And then there is Chike. His song "Running to You." Anybody we won't fight you, make them come. They already know I'll be right beside you like the wall of Jericho. That song became the soundtrack to this drama in a way nobody planned. Because here is a man singing about being a protector, a soldier, a refuge, while allegedly being the reason another man's marriage collapsed. When the controversy intensified, Chike's response was to post a video of himself trying on a stylish pink suit on his Instagram story. Sandra posted the same love-themed song around the same time, causing raised eyebrows across social media. Legit energy. No statement, no denial, just vibes. One Nigerian American commentator pointed out that this controversy might cost Chike his wedding performance gigs, because men would now be afraid to book him, worried he might dog their wives. Legit, and Nigeria is so funny and so serious at the same time. But here is the real conversation. We live in a culture that teaches women to endure, to stay, to manage. A man who punishes her with silence, cheats on her quietly, leaves her to carry the children, the bills, and the emotional weight of the home, and then turns around and calls her the villain when she finally breaks. Frank himself admitted in his voice note that he left the house for 3 months and cried when he discovered the alleged affair, but that he still tried to save the marriage for the sake of the children. Punch. I hear him, I feel his pain, betrayal is real, but I also want to ask what was happening in that house for years before that phone call was ever made. Sandra didn't wake up one day and decide to destroy her family. Women don't do that for nothing. That is not what I am saying happened here. What I am saying is, when we rush to judge her, we should also be asking what she was surviving. So what is the lesson? Not every man who doesn't raise his fist is a good husband. Not every woman who runs is unfaithful by nature. And not every love song is sung by a man with clean hands. The Frank Edoho and Sandra story is messy. It is human. It is the kind of thing that happens behind closed doors in homes across Lagos, Abuja, London, Toronto, and everywhere. Nigerian couples carry their pain in silence. The question is not who cheated first. The question is, at what point did this marriage stop being a marriage and start being a prison? A lot of people are reacting emotionally to this story because many married people secretly relate to it. Not the cheating part, but the loneliness part. The feeling of being emotionally abandoned while still wearing a wedding ring. Some people are married but have nobody to talk to, nobody to laugh with, nobody to feel safe with emotionally. And then someone else enters the picture. Someone who listens, someone who validates, someone who notices their pain. And suddenly, boundaries that once looked impossible begin to collapse. Again, cheating is wrong. But emotional neglect is dangerous too. You cannot constantly humiliate, dismiss, emotionally punish, ignore, or starve someone of affection, and then act shocked when the marriage becomes emotionally empty. Marriage is not ownership. It is not dictatorship. It is not, I am the king. Marriage is partnership, friendship, safety, respect, gentleness, intentional love. And honestly, this is why Chike's song is hitting differently for many women online. Because deep down, many women are not looking for money first. They're looking for emotional safety. To feel heard, to feel protected, to feel valued, to feel emotionally chosen. Social media will eventually move on from this story, but the real question will remain. How many marriages are silently dying because two people stopped emotionally caring for each other long before the scandal ever happened? What do you think? Can emotional neglect destroy a marriage just as much as cheating? Let's talk respectfully in the comments. I want to hear from you. Have you ever stayed in a marriage that was quietly killing you? Have you ever been punished with silence by someone who said they loved you? And then, have you ever asked yourself if your woman's breaking point was something you built brick by brick? Let us talk about it. Don't just share this video, share the conversation. Tag a friend who needs to stop romanticizing malice. Tag a couple who needs to learn that silence is not strength. It is slow poison. And the next time someone brags about being the king of malice, ask them one thing. If your best punishment is silence, then what are you so afraid of hearing? I'm Henrie, and this was Let's Talk About It with Henrie. Stop normalizing emotional prison. Start demanding respect.